Hello, mighty companions. Welcome to Facebook Live. I'm Earl Purdy, and I want to welcome you to a course in miracles, which is a course in right perception. We're going to be continuing with the function of time. The function of time. What is the correct function of time? We're going to be on page 246 in the Foundation for Inner Peace version of A Course in Miracles. And that's on page 246, chapter 13, The Guiltless World. And it's section 4, the function of time. We're going to be on paragraph 5. And we're going to start out with the truth from A Course in Miracles lesson from Brother John Christmas at www.johnchristmas.com. And the title of this song, as you probably all know, is I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the insanity and the fear and the upset and the misperception I see. If you know the words, let's do it together. Here we go. Boom, 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 boom. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim, no, of the world I see. No matter what's happening to you right now. I'm not a victim of my wrong. I'm not a victim of my fault. I'm not a victim of events, circumstance at all. I'm not a victim, yeah, of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. Cause what's happening now is what I done to me. I'm not a victim of the future, not a victim of the past, not a victim of anything that really doesn't last. I'm not a victim of the world I see. Cause what's happening now is what I done to me. Whether I want to believe it, whether I want to believe it. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim, no, of the world I see. Welcome to A Course in Miracles here on Facebook Live. That ain't no jive. I'm Earl Purdy, Earl Ross Purdy, and we want to know the true function of time. How is the way that we can best use time? We are wanting to use time correctly, so let's listen to this from the Course. I'm not a victim of the North, I'm not a victim of the South, not a victim of anything except what comes out my mouth. I'm not a victim of the world I see. Cause what's happening now is what I done to me. Yeah. Come out now. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim, no, of the world I see. You need not believe these ideas. You need not accept these ideas. You need not even welcome these ideas. Some of these ideas you may actively resist. Some of the ideas you may actively resist. Some of the ideas you may actively resist. Some of it may be hard to believe and quite startling. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. Cause what's happening now is what I done to me. Oh yeah. Oh wow. Yeah, yes. Wow. Yeah, that was Brother John Christmas. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. Take a breath. We're going to be on page 246 in the Course in Miracles text, and we're going to be in the section called The Function of Time. Now remember, I'm the divine repetition teacher. I'm the truth repetition teacher. I've been doing the Course in Miracles for 40 years, and I've been doing it full time in the world for over 30 years. And my function is to save time. The Course in Miracles says the purpose of a relationship is to save time. That every relationship should be moving you toward the realization of love and the realization of who you really are. So if you're in a relationship and the only thing it's doing is increasing anger, guilt, grievances, and fear, then you're in a relationship that's delaying you. And if you're in a relationship that only brings you joy and peace and freedom and innocence, that relationship is speeding you along. A Course in Miracles teaches that 1 minute spent together focusing on the truth saves us 100 years at the least. So in these 60 minutes, we're going to save each other how many years, math people? How many?
6,000 minutes.
How many years? 100 years a minute? That's a lot. That's a lot. That's what I know. So that means that that itself should just make y'all feel so generous. You know. The truth is, we're going to be on paragraph 5. And remember that the Course in Miracles says you need to remember it. It isn't about analyzing it, so I'm not an analyzation teacher. And so therefore, those who need analyzation, you will be disappointed. But those who want to remember what the Course says and hear it in plain language and get a great idea about what each paragraph is basically telling us, then I may be the person that may be helpful to you. The Course in Miracles says, read me slowly, do me slowly. And we all know that's the best way to do it, is slowly. So what is the first thing that the ego tests? First of all, it talks about the ego a lot. So I'm going to give you the quick definition of the ego. The ego is the part of the mind that believes in guilt. The ego is the part of the mind that thinks it's separate from God, separate from love. The ego is the part of your mind that believes that you are less than love, or the part of your mind that feels a lot of guilt about things. So the Course in Miracles says if you're a person that's focusing on the past, if you're a person that has a lot of guilt and fear, a person that has a lot of guilt, a person that has a lot of fear, it says that now has no meaning to you. So a person that's miserable, they really are not focusing on the peace and the sanity and the love that's happening in the present moment. When you're upset, you're not now. When you're upset, you're never in the now, you're never in the now, you're never in the now when you're upset. The Course says using these ideas will show you that these ideas have meaning. So when you're upset, just get straight with yourself right now. You're out of the now, because now has no meaning to the ego. Now has no meaning to the mind that's in fear. So what happens with the mind that's in fear, anger, or guilt? Well, the now, the present, just reminds you of past hurts. You're reacting to the present as if it were the past. So when you're in anger, guilt, and grievances, all you're doing is using right now to think about how you were hurt in the past, who hurt you in the past, and what hurt you in the past. So if you are in your angry, guilty mind, you're reacting to right now as if right now were the past. You're reacting to that person that you were upset with, that you believe that hurt you in the past, as if that is happening right now. Really, right now is the time you can choose how you want to see things. Right now is the time you can choose another way to look at things. So if you want to come to the present and you want to get in the present really, really quick, all you have to do is go, I'm going to pause and I'm going to choose another way of looking at things, because choice can only happen in the present. So every time you make a choice, it brings you back to the present, because you're going to have to make that decision right now. So if you want to come back to the present, what do? You focus on the fact that you have to do what? Choose once again. You got to choose once again. I got to choose once again. Say what? You got to choose once again. Now, do you know that a person that feels anger, guilt, and grievances, who believe that they're guilty, the Course in Miracles says the ego cannot tolerate what? The ego cannot tolerate release from the past. When you believe you're hurt and you think you don't love yourself, or you think somebody else has hurt you, you don't want release from the past. You want to hang on to that grievance. You want to keep on thinking about what you think was done to you in the past. And so although the past is over, what? The past is gone. It's over. That's what past means. It means over. It means over, gone. Past means gone. Past means over. So the Course says, although the past is over, when you're angry, when you're full of guilt, when you're full of grievances, the Course said you're going to try to preserve the image of the past. So how do you keep the past going? You keep the past going by responding as if what happened in the past were present right now. How do you keep the past going? You take right now and you act like what happened in the past is happening right now. You may not have been prosperous and rich and wealthy in the past, but that doesn't mean it has to be that way right now. You may have not been loved the way you think you need to be loved, but it doesn't have to be happening right now. So the part of you that's focused on the past, that part of you preserves the image of the past by doing what? Responding to the present as if the present were the past. Stop analyzing the Course in Miracles. If you will see how the Course in Miracles reads, if you actually would read the Course in Miracles, you would see that the Course always explains everything that it's saying as it says it. It's almost as if the Course, the author of the Course knew that we wouldn't understand it, that our old programming called our ego would try to confuse us. So that's why I take it slow, so I can show you. That's why I work with the book, even though I've read it over 100 times from cover to cover, easily, and have been teaching it for 40 years. Notice I never do my class without focusing on the book, because a good teacher is trying to make themselves ultimately unnecessary. And the best way to make a person unnecessary would be to show them how to read the Course in Miracles for themselves. And then I could still be helpful to you, but you wouldn't need me. And I usually always get to the point in my relationships where people don't need me. It's happened a lot. I've been a very successful teacher. That's my class girlfriends. They got to the point they didn't need me no more. So I'm pretty successful at relationships. And so are you. If you've had a lot of people get to the point, not only they don't need you anymore, they actually got a restraining order just to help that process out. You know, my success rate keeps going up. My success rate keeps going up. That's right. That's right. So the part of your mind that thinks you're angry, guilty, and separate from God, the Course says that part of your mind, called the ego, it dictates. And what does it dictate? Your reaction to those you meet in the present from what? A past reference point. So notice that the Course in Miracles keeps saying the same thing. All I've said is the same thing ever since I started reading these passages. That's why I tell people, stop analyzing any particular sentence. Why should you stop analyzing any particular sentence in the Course? Because the Course is going to say it again another way. So if you didn't get it this way, maybe you'll get it that way. So don't let your ego fool you into like, I'm going to stay on this paragraph until I understand it. Don't worry. It's going to say the same thing in the next one in another way. So the Course is actually very simple. But the Course teaches that simplicity is very difficult for twisted minds. Simplicity is very difficult for twisted minds, according to A Course in Miracles. So if I react to you from a past reference point, he says that's obscuring that person's what? Present reality. If I see you as if you were the way you were the last time I saw you, I'm hiding who you are right now. If I remember the past when I was with you and what we did in the past when I was with you, I'll keep missing how you treat me and how you're being with me right now. So what does that mean in effect? What does that mean in effect? If you follow fear's dictates, if you follow your ego's dictates, if you follow the wrong mind's dictates, you will react to your brother, which the Course describes as an equal. You will react to your equal as if they were someone else. Who's the someone else? The person that they were in the past. And the Course says, if you react to the person as if they're the person that they were in the past, then it will surely prevent you from what? Recognizing them as they are right now. You know, I've had a lot of healing that I've been, one of the side effects of the Course in Miracles that I've noticed is I've had a lot of people that I had relationships with in the past, especially special relationships in the past that have shown up in my life a lot over the last year because I've been asking for forgiveness and to have forgiveness happen. And I believe a real relationship is a relationship that can withstand a change of form. So a real relationship to me is, let's say we were partners, boyfriend, girlfriends, whatever those types of labels you like to use. And for whatever reason, the relationship ended. Now, if I want to look at that from a Course in Miracles standpoint, it would say the relationship between you and that person ended, Earl, because you learned as much as you could from each other at the time. And then you appeared to separate. That's what the Course in Miracles says what happens in special relationships, any relationship. Is that there's a second level of relationship, and the second level of relationship is an intense relationship where you learn as much as you can from each other at the time and you appear to separate. So, if the relationship is real, even though we may not be quote unquote boyfriend, girlfriend, or whatever that form was, we would still love each other and we would still want to have a relationship with each other and we would still be able to communicate peacefully with each other. We just know we learned as much as we could from that particular form of relationship. Are you following me? Okay. So if I am meeting these people from my past, what I have to always remember as the Holy Spirit gives me this opportunity, because I have had people from my past, a lot of them getting in touch with me lately. I didn't realize how many people I learned as much as I could from at the time and appeared to separate. So, oh, another one. Oh, another one. Oh, another one. But what was common about it was every time I would communicate with them or spend some time with them, I had to constantly remind myself that they weren't the person that I was dealing with years ago or last week or last month, and they weren't either. I had to consciously remember not to interpret them based on my past experience and then pay attention to what they were saying to me right now, how they were saying they were right now, how they were saying they wanted to relate to me right now. And usually what they always emphasize is they just want to be friends, which is a holy relationship. A holy relationship is more friendship than it is a special love relationship with all the conditions, right? Yeah. So they were really saying, I really want a real relationship with you. You know, and so it was a miraculous time of healing. I had the same thing happen with my children. You know, so my point is, if you really want to have forgiveness happen, from a Course in Miracles standpoint, forgiveness would be, I'm not going to interpret you based on the experience that I had with you in the past. So that's how we're going to forgive each other. Now, what happens if you refuse to see that person brand new? Well, the Course says, well, then you're going to receive messages from that person out of your own past. You're going to still be seeing them in terms of the past. So no matter what they say, that's how you're going to see it, is in terms of the past. And you're going to still keep that past real right now. I don't care what you say. I know who you really are. I know exactly what you like. You're not fooling me with saying God, Spirit, peace, forgiveness, right? So then I'm getting a message out of my past, and that's keeping me from seeing them as they are now. Nothing makes you feel better than to be with a person that you have learned as much as you can with at the time, and you connect with them, and you find that the relationship was valuable to them. And the relationship was valuable enough that even though the form changed, you all still wanted to have peace with each other. That meant you actually had love. Why? Because it's still happening. That means it's still happening. But y'all might not relate to each other physically the way that you did in the past. So I hope you enjoyed it. Okay. Well, you may not never do that no more. That might not never happen. And some of y'all glad about that. Some of y'all, anyway. Okay. So if you make a person's past real in the present, what are you doing? You're forbidding to let the past. You're forbidding yourself to let the past go. If I want to hang on to the grievance, what am I doing? I am forbidding myself. I am forbidding myself from letting the past go. So I want you to apply that not only to like relationships with people, but it could be your relationship to your finances. It could be your relationship to your career. The truth is true in any circumstance. So don't judge anything about your life and then say, I could not have a better situation now because of what happened in the past. I was never prosperous in the past, so I certainly couldn't be prosperous now. I never had relationships that were awesome in the past, so I certainly couldn't have one now. That person was mean or cruel to me in the past, so they certainly couldn't be absolutely off the chain cool to be around now. The Course in Miracles says, if you keep focusing on the past and the grievances that you have against somebody or what happened in the past when you were with somebody, you're forbidding yourself to let that past experience go. And then we heard last week that if you interpret the present thinking about the past, then you're going to project it into the future and you're going to relive that experience again in some form or another, and you're going to call it your pattern. You're going to say, oh, I got this pattern in relationships. Well, that's because you still think the same erroneous way about relationships now as you thought then, and so you're recreating that again in your future. And so the Course in Miracles says you are then denying yourself the message of release that every brother, every equal offers you now. So I'll never know what you could say to me now. I'll never know the love and peace that I could have with you now if I keep looking at you in terms of what I think I experienced with you in the past. And even if you were actually doing some of the things again to me in the now that you were doing in the past, I still need to be in the present. I still need to be in the present to see what's happening between us now. Okay? So the Course says these are called the shadowy figures. I love the Course in Miracles. The Course in Miracles calls that the shadowy figures. And some of you probably have really cute shadowy figures. I know, it's not, I know for a fact. I've seen them. Okay. So the shadowy figure from the past, looking at people in terms of how you experienced them in the past, is precisely what you must escape. So what is the Holy Spirit saying that we need to escape? Always looking at everybody in terms of what we think we've experienced in the past. Sometimes when I get out of an elevator in my apartment building and there's a being in a white female body that's standing right there and the door opens unexpectedly and she sees me, they'll jump back, right? Because a lot of times what they learned in the past or seen in the past about people who look like me. So they're not really reacting to me. They don't even know me. She's reacting to what her past experience, and she's interpreting her present in terms of the past experience. Then she projects it into the future, and then she has that same reaction when she comes across another person with the color body that I have. We're all doing that. So I'm not saying that in a critical way because I do it in my own way about certain things too. I as a person of color, I may tend to do that when I see a policeman. React to the policeman as if they were the one that I might have had an incident or a run-in with in the past. Fortunately, that's never happened to me. I've always tried to never look at people as a group as being this group of people is in a certain way. I've always wanted to deal with people individually. If I don't like you, it'll be because you suck. It won't be because of the color of your skin. But that's a judgment based on the past. So I gotta let go of that too. Right? So if I'm looking for every policeman to be someone that's going to attract me and hurt me, then I'm going to draw that to myself at some level. I'm going to see it. I increase the possibility that that could happen to me. So my personal rule for living is I'm going to give what I want to receive, and I want to receive love and peace. So that's what I'm going to be a means of. And I've also seen that people who don't want love and peace, you don't have to worry about them. They're not even going to be attracted to you. In most cases, they're just not drawn into your experience if you're really sincerely wanting love and peace. But if you're talking nicey, but you still have a lot of unconscious, subconscious grievances and anger and resentments, then you'll seem like a nice person that's always meeting crappy people that mistreat you. So if you're one of these nice people that always look like something horrible is happening, the Course in Miracles would say you have unconscious guilt and grievances that you don't know about, that you got some anger that you don't know about. And so your outer world is reflecting back to you the aspects of your own mind that you don't recognize as there. Because the mind is a lot like an iceberg. Have you noticed that the tip of the iceberg is just that? The part of the iceberg that's under the water is much greater than the tip that you see on top. So it's not about the tip. It's about the iceberg that's under the water. Okay. If you don't have a sense of humor, don't watch me. Go to somebody else's. There's tons of other Facebook people you can watch. But you know, that's okay. I'm going to be me. If you don't like it, then you need to use your presence to interpret me in a different way so that you don't have this experience in the future, right? Okay. It's a perfect opportunity for you to practice exactly what I'm talking about, right? So that means that thinking that people are the way they were in the past, or thinking that something is the way it was in the past, right now, he says that's the shadowy figure because it's not real. And the Course says they're not real. So the past cannot have any hold over you. Now listen to this. The past can't have any hold over you unless you bring it with you. The only reason why your childhood is still having any kind of influence on you is you keep bringing it with you in every situation. If you ever want to forgive your father, you can't keep remembering every injustice that you thought happened to you with your father. You're going to have to, in the present, want to see him differently. And in the beginning, the best you might be able to do is say, I want to see you differently. I may not be to the point I can do it yet, but if I say I want to see you differently, then that is at least setting the goal. And when you set the goal, the Course teaches that all the things that help you achieve your goal automatically start showing up the once you have a clear goal and a clear purpose. Got that? I'll say that again. It's more important for you to be sure of what your goal and purpose is than it is to know how you're going to achieve the goal or purpose. It's more important for you to know what your goal is than to know how you're going to fulfill the goal. Most people do it backwards. They are all focused on the how, but they don't keep their goal in mind. They lose sight of their purpose. And sometimes in relationships, this is especially true. People will be with somebody and go, I don't even know why I'm with you. I don't even know why we're still together. So no wonder you don't know how to treat each other, what to do in a relationship. You don't even know why you're together. So the first thing you need to do if you're in a relationship that you're having challenges with is sit down with your partner and go, what do we want to come out of this relationship? What is this relationship for? Women are usually really good at that. After you've been with them for a while, they usually go, where's this headed? Where is this going? And then the guy go, oh, here we go. I was waiting. I was hoping it wouldn't get to this point this quick, you know what I'm saying? By the fourth date, it's coming, buddy. You know, especially if there was any kind of intimacy involved, it's coming. For sure. Where is this going? I want to know. And that's the right question to ask. That's the perfect question to ask if you don't want to waste your time. And so the Course in Miracles says, now, I love this book. He says, don't bring the shadowy figures from the past with you because they carry the spots of pain. I love that. The spots of pain in your mind. And thinking about the past is going to direct you to attack that person right now in the present in retaliation for a past that isn't even happening anymore. In other words, I'm going to attack you right now for what happened to me 6 months ago, right now. So the Course in Miracles says that's a pain, that's the result of pain spots. Wow. Spots, I love that. The Course in Miracles is a very visual teaching. So if you're not necessarily a person that is that you learn through words so much, but you learn through pictures, remember the Course in Miracles is painting the picture, right? The shadowy figures from the past. You must escape. They're not real. They can have no hold over you unless you bring them with you, and they're carrying spots of pain. in your mind. They're directing you to attack in the present in retaliation for what you did in the past. And he says, when you are always dealing with people based on what you experienced in the past, he says, this is a decision. Whenever you continually bring the past with you in any situation or circumstance, what is it? It's a decision, and it's a decision that is one of future pain. So, because I'm going to find what I'm looking for. If I believe I can't trust women, and I use that in the past, in the present, and I look at it that way, then the truth is I'm going to overlook all the people that I can trust, that really are loving, that really are different. I'm going to be suspicious of them, number one. I'm going to be most suspicious of them. Actually, I think they're the ones that's trying to fool me as being nice, because I believe that women are untrustworthy. Then I'll be attracted to the women who are untrustworthy, because that makes me right. And most people would rather be what? Right than happy. So even if you present them with the alternative, they won't be that attracted to you, because that would make them wrong. And so I've gotten to the point through the Course in Miracles that all day long, what am I doing? Hoping I'm wrong. And my life has gotten so much better since I started to hope I was wrong whenever I was unhappy or upset. I don't want to be right. If I tell myself I can't be prosperous and I can't be abundant and things don't go right for me, I don't want to be right about that. But so I go, man, you're upset right now. Hope you're wrong. You're feeling depressed right now. Hope you're wrong. You're telling yourself you can't trust anybody. Hope you're wrong. You know, as a person of color, you're being told that every law enforcement officer is somehow dangerous. Hope you're wrong. That's not saying that there aren't some that are called for love, but I'm also saying every one of them aren't. And so the point that I'm making is you will always see what you believe. And you'll draw to you the thing that you focus on the most. Because there's a part of the mind that wants to be right more than it wants to be happy. So the Course in Miracles says, it's a little funky now. Unless you learn that the past pain is an illusion, unless you realize that the pain in the past isn't happening right now, you are choosing a future of pains, which are illusions. Unless you let go of what has happened in the past, what are you choosing? You are choosing a future of illusions, a future of pain. So if you are refusing to let go of what you think happened to you in the past, do you know you're losing many opportunities? Do you want to keep on losing many opportunities? Well, you got to let go of what happened in the gone, because the past means gone. It means gone. If you're from the South like me, it means gone. You know, in the South, we just cut through stuff. We do talking shortcuts. You probably go, I am going to go to the grocery store. In the South, we go, I'm fixing to go to the store. See, how quick that was. I'm fixing to go to the store. See, that's what we do. We just cut through all this stuff. So do you want to keep on losing many opportunities? Say no. No. Thank you. So what are the opportunities that you're losing sight of? The opportunities to find release right now, in the present, right now. Do you want to have release from your lack right now? Don't believe that you have to be so poor that you can't even pay attention. Some people are so poor they can't even pay attention. It's horrible. If you want to have a relationship that's full of love and joy and connection now, you have to let go of judging that could happen based on what's happened to you in the past in relationships. One of the reasons is this: you are not the same person that you were in the past. You're not the same person that you were in the past. You're not the same person as the person in the past. When that situation kicked your past. That situation kicked my past. Yes, it did, buddy. You got a big round past. Laughter is allowed. The one reason that I always try to be myself is because the Course in Miracles taught me that it's the best way in the world to end up surrounded by people who can accept you for who you are. See, if I was to be anything other than myself to attract you, then I have to keep on being somebody other than myself to keep you. So you'd expect me to keep acting the way I was acting just so you would like me. But if I just go ahead and be authentic as I can be, and you don't like it, then you leave, unless you're really cruel. Now, if you're not cruel, you'll stay. Have you ever been with somebody who's that cruel? They didn't love you, didn't appreciate you, but their butt wouldn't go nowhere. They just kept on trying to stay in a relationship with you, right? Or you did the same thing, which meant you were the cruel one, right? See, when you start to love yourself, I've said it often that the Course in Miracles teaches that you won't be able to stand minor intrusions of discomfort when you begin to spiritually awaken. Because when you start to love yourself, you just simply can't take the stuff you used to take and put up with. That's how you can, see, if you're loving yourself, it doesn't make you more tolerant of uncomfortable, painful situations or people. When you start to wake up spiritually, you can't stand it. You literally can't stay in it any longer. And what's the cool part about that? The cool part about that is that the people who can accept you and want to love you, they have space to come in. So I'm surrounded by people in my inner circle who love me and accept me the way I am. And so I'm doing the same thing with them. So we're very seldom focusing on trying to change each other. Because why would I change somebody that I'm enjoying the way they are? So my focus isn't on changing them. My focus is on appreciating them, letting them know I appreciate them, because the Course in Miracles taught me that what you appreciate stays with you, and that's what love is, and what you don't appreciate will leave. So if you want to get rid of somebody or something, just stop appreciating it. See, you keep on complaining about their job, then you get laid off, and then you're devastated. But you weren't appreciating it. You were telling the universe you didn't like it. Then you're shocked when you get fired or laid off. Oh, how did that happen? When was the last time you said, thank you, God, for the job that I'm going to today? No, you were complaining about it and everybody on it. My boss don't like me, that no good son of a gun. Well, look at what you're saying about your boss. Right. So I'm telling you, you're never a victim of the world you see, in the sense that there's always another way to look at whatever is happening. Now, this is what we call welcome to ACIM, A Course in Miracles. This is your miracle DJ, Earl Purdy. Yeah, the past is over. It can touch me not. The past is over. It can touch me not. Say what? The past is over. It can touch me not. Say what? The past is over. It can touch me not. I love talking to the 30,000 plus people who tune into my classes every month. That means there might be a few people that like me out there. We get along beautifully because we're never around each other, don't see each other, don't talk to each other. It makes for love. It makes for love. If you don't funk it up, that's the secret ingredient to manifestation. So what you recognize, check this out. Say your fear, your ego, your grievances would try to preserve your nightmares. So the part of you that doesn't love you, that thinks you don't deserve to be happy, would try to preserve your nightmares. What does that mean? The part of you that doesn't love you, that thinks you're not enough. Maybe the part of you that learned to think you were a sinner or bad or guilty and unworthy or inadequate. The Course says that part of you will prevent you from awakening. And how? Because that part of you will refuse to understand that what happened to you in the past is gone. So I don't care what happened to you in the past, and my heart goes out to you if it was something that you experienced in the past that wasn't loving, okay? But the past is your friend in the sense that it's gone. It's really gone. If you all didn't tell me what happened to you in your childhood, I swear I would have no idea. It's not like if it was real, I would see your baggage. You know what I'm saying? I would see, I would go, oh my God, you were abused when you were 5 years old. As soon as I saw you. Why? Because it would be present right now. But you have to say, Earl, I had a father that was really cruel to me. See, it's not real to me because, first of all, I'm not your father, and I don't think I am. Let me check that out.
Maybe.
You do kind of strangely look like me. Is it something you trying to tell me, Demola? That's why you've been hanging around me? Are you trying to work up to something? I need to laugh. Thank you all. Thank you for helping me laugh. I tell you, it's because the world is crazy as hell right now. It's so crazy right now. It's so crazy right now. It's so crazy. And so I had to remember in this moment, whatever I thought was crazy that happened last week, you know, am I willing to look at it differently, right? So the Course in Miracles says, would you recognize a holy encounter? Would you recognize a loving, healing encounter if you are merely perceiving this encounter as a meeting with your own past? So would I recognize an opportunity for us to have love with each other right now if I just looked at it as if I'm meeting the same thing that I've gone through in the past, right? He says, because whenever you look at someone in terms of the past, you're not really meeting anyone. He says, you're actually meeting no one. He says, and the sharing of love, the sharing of salvation, the sharing of peace, that's what makes the encounter healing and holy and loving. It's because we're sharing peace in this encounter. The Course says that would be excluded from my sight if I'm only thinking about the past with you. Then I don't see the love and the happiness and the joy that you and I could have with each other right now. Does that make sense to everybody? Notice how he's saying the same thing. Every kind of way, so that you, after this class, it's not about walking away with everything you heard. It's about walking away with one thing you heard and then applying it to every situation, right? Because what is the name of this section? The function of time. So I can either use time to perpetuate my past and my fear, or I can use time to let it go, all right? And the Course says the Holy Spirit. What is the Holy Spirit from a Course in Miracles perspective? The Holy Spirit is your loving right mind. It's the part of you that's still in touch with the truth. It's the part of you that's still in touch with that which created you, the divine. So I like to say my loving right mind, right? The Holy Spirit teaches you one lesson, and it's this, that you always meet yourself. You're always meeting who? Yourself. And so the encounter is holy and healing and innocent because you are holy, you are innocent, you are love. So why is my encounter with you holy? Because I am. Why is my encounter with you loving? Because I am. Why is my encounter with you free? Because I am. So every encounter is going to be what I am. Wow. So if you're surrounded by people you don't like, then that means you need to work on yourself right now as far as changing your mind about who you think you are. You need to get a more correct perception of yourself. If everybody around you upsets you and you don't like them, you don't like yourself. Because if you really love yourself, first of all, if you couldn't change your mind about all the people around you that you're upset about, you would choose out of the relationships. So that's what it means when it says it's what you are. You hang around because it's what you think you are. That's why you can't get away from that abusive partner. Because some part of you, and I know this is hard for some people to hear this, but some part of you believes you deserve that. And I'm here to tell you that you don't deserve that. And I'm going to support that part of you that believes you don't deserve that. That would be because I believe I don't deserve that. Because remember, he says that the encounter is holy and healing because I am. So what does your ego teach you? What is the part of you that believes in anger, guilt, and grievances, and anger, and fear, and lack? The Course says, what does that part of you teach you? The wrong mind, which he calls the ego, your wrong mindedness, does what? It teaches you that you always encounter your past. That you always, it's just your past. You see, it's happening again, it's going to happen again. It happened to you in the past, it's going to happen to you again. It's going to happen to you in the past, it's going to. So that part of you teaches you that you only encounter the past, and because your past was not healing and beautiful, which the Course calls your dreams. He said a dream is something you think is real that's not. Mm-hmm. So that's why the Course in Miracles uses dreams and the past synonymously, because they are the same thing. There's something that doesn't exist that you think does. Mm-hmm. So the Course says in the past, your dreams were not loving in all cases. Your past was not healing in all cases. So there's a part of you that will tell you erroneously that your future can't be really healing and happy and prosperous and beautiful because your past wasn't. And so that means the present has no meaning to me, because the present is my point of power. If I'm going to make a change, I can only do it now. And so if I want to make a change now, I can only do it by making new choices, new decisions. So you can only make a new choice when? Now. So choosing puts you in the present. I'm gonna keep on repeating that. If you want to get present really quick, this is what you do. Make choices. Because you can only make a choice now. And then the other thing you do is take a breath, pause, and feel your body. Feel how the seat feels under you. You know, put your hands on your legs. Be conscious of now. So the Course in Miracles says the present won't mean anything to you unless you realize that you are not encountering your past. This is a brand new moment. That is good news. That is good news. So the present is the point of power, because in the present you can make a brand new choice. You can make a brand new choice. So I want you to take a breath right now. I'm going to take a minute, and then I'm going to go back through this. I'm going to do a review, and then I'm going to recap what I said so far today. So I am a full-time teacher of A Course in Miracles. Those of you who would like to make a donation to my teaching ministry or make a financial expression of appreciation, thank you so much. I'd like to give you that opportunity. You just go to my website, www.earlpurdy.com. I make everything I do. I have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of classes that people can watch for free on my website, on YouTube, and also on Facebook. So having money or not doesn't determine whether or not you can benefit through what I do. And I also love receiving money, because I have the same things in the world to take care of as you do. And God gives through us. And I don't know how we can get that, but everything good that comes to us, it comes through us through as channels. And all that you give is given to yourself. And I am sustained by the love of God, and so are you. Yes. And also, I'd like to say I am a full-time counselor. I also do counseling, advising, and mentoring, and I call it clarity sessions. And so I'm available to show you how to make these things that I'm talking about practical in situations in your everyday life to heal things. Also, I have been a sole purpose astrologer and numerologist for over 40 years. You are a spiritual being having a human experience. You are a spiritual being having a human experience. There's a divine plan for your life. You wasn't just dropped here without some type of direction. And there are many ways that the universe and spirit communicates to us. And one of the ways I have found is through astrological charts, just like through the Course in Miracles, just like through the Bible, just like through any personal. Notice we learn through things. So it's really about what is the thing you feel drawn to. So if you're open and receptive to that, then I also use that in my sessions for those who are open and receptive to it. I said for who? Those who are open and receptive to it. I never try to convert anyone in any way, because that would be negating your own free will and your own free choice. I trust that the God in you, the spirit in you, the truth in you can guide you as much as it guides me, right? So no really enlightened person wants to be a leader or a follower, because when you are a leader, then you're walking by yourself. And when you're a follower, when you follow someone, you're walking by yourself. It's not until you see each other as equals that you're walking together. Then you're not walking alone. Now, you may walk a few inches in front of that person if you know the path better than they do, but you still are walking together. So I've done 40 years of A Course in Miracles for you, in a sense. Just like somebody that's, if I need to get my transmission fixed, that guy who's learned how to fix transmissions, he did that for me, then I get a chance to get the benefit of his knowledge when he fixes my transmission. Right? And I'm saying, and the same thing is true with the Course in Miracles. I've learned a lot of the Course in Miracles for you, so therefore I can save you a lot of time, because I know a lot of the tricks that your mind is going to try to play to sabotage you when you're trying to read this on your own at first. So if I say to you that it's more important to remember what I said today than to analyze what I said today, I'm saying that based on 40 years of experience and working with literally thousands of people. So if you want to master the happiness that you're looking for, you need to remember the truth and then apply that to your everyday. So the next time somebody new comes up and you were to go, okay, I got to remember this person is not the other person. This mechanic is not the other mechanic. So it doesn't mean this mechanic is going to try to rip me off. You follow what I'm saying? That's practical. You know what I'm saying? Okay, I'm getting ready to get upset with you about something that happened last night. Okay, but right in this moment, what happened last night isn't happening. So I need to talk to you in terms of where you are at this moment and where I am in this moment. And even if I want to talk to you about it, I'm going to say, I hope I'm wrong about this. I want another way to look at it. That would be present. Just to say, I hope I'm wrong about what I saw, and I want another way to look at it. That's still different from accusing the person. So if you want to get rid of people's defensiveness, like people have a lot of times they want to talk to a friend or a partner and the person becomes defensive. The easiest way to do that is to start off with, from a course, I don't like the way I feel right now. And I hope I'm wrong. I want another way to look at this. Perhaps there is another way to look at this. What can I lose by asking for another way to look at this? See, that you can see how that would make a person a lot less defensive to hear what you got to say. I know what you did last night, and we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it right now. See, that's not going to make a person be open and receptive to what you have to say. Relationships, I'm sorry you all, relationships do not have to be as hard as we make them.
That's good news, right?
And you can tell by the cheers of the world that people were glad to hear that. You can tell by the cheers that was good news. But it's not going to be good news if I think I'm an unworthy person and I don't deserve to be loved. See, that's the thing. If it's not that what we're being asked to do is hard. The Course in Miracles says the problem with most people is they don't think they're worth consistent effort. It's not that what I'm telling you today is hard, but do you think you're worth the effort that it would take for you to change your mind to move into this direction? That's the challenge. So if you want to work with anybody in any kind of way, the first issue you are going to deal with is the issue of their self-esteem. Because if they don't love themselves and they don't think they deserve to be happy, you could give them the most brilliant teaching ever, and they're not going to use it. That's why I understand when those, in a lot of those movies I used to watch where if a person wanted to be a disciple or a student of a great master, they might sit out there in front of the door for like 6 months before they let them in. Why? Because they want to be sure this person isn't jiving around. They really want to change. And that's what I'm always looking for with the people I work with. You know, it's like, if you really want to change, then first of all, if you think this is the path, then you're gonna get the book and you're gonna start working with it if this appeals to you, or you'll be consistently watching the classes or whatever, because like the Course says, how can you say you want something but you don't want the means to get it? Yeah. Right? So how can you say you want the Course in Miracles, which teaches you how to see things in such a way that you don't lose your peace? Then it says if you don't lose your peace, then you can hear your own inner guidance. Because I'm not trying to put you into my hands. I have no desire to be a guru leader. It's like, no. That doesn't sound like fun to me at all. Right? And then people put you up on the pedestal, and I don't want you putting me up on the pedestal. It just means you'll get better aim. So I don't have any desire to be anybody's leader, okay? You will not, that's not my thing. But why do I do this? Because all that I give is given to myself. I see you as myself. We are one. We're learning we are one. And the best way to not forget something is to remind other people of it. Yeah. So every time I remind you of this, I'm reminding me of this. I have been present at most of the classes I've taught. Just there was a few after Saturday night. I wasn't there, but Spirit took over and did it for me, you know. And so that's what I'm saying to you all. Okay, so if you want to find out about my clarity sessions, go to my website, earlpurdy.com. You can also you get all the details and you can book a session with me online. Then on Thursday nights, I do hardcore Course in Miracles, especially geared toward people who have already decided they want to learn it and they're ready to get down to the practical aspects of it. But anybody's welcome to watch it. I think you would benefit. And so if you want to see how to make this practical even more, check out my Thursday night class, 7 p.m. Mountain Time on Facebook Live. The Earl Purdy page. It's hard to remember. The Earl Purdy page. Okay, that's at 7 p.m. Mountain Time on every Thursday, and Sundays at 1 p.m. right here. The Course in Miracles on the Earl Purdy page. Every Sunday from 1 until approximately 2. The Course says how you change your mind is through repetition, 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 repetition. Because don't you realize you think the way you think right now because it was constantly repeated, either from you to you or somebody to you. So it doesn't take as long to undo erroneous thinking as it does to acquire it. And that's good news. I say it again. It doesn't take as long to demolish a building as it does to build one. So letting go of your old way of thinking does not take as long as it took for you to build that old way of thinking. But it does require you being involved. The Course in Miracles says, if you want to make sure a problem is never solved, then take yourself out of it. Because the problem is you. Yeah. And the answer is you. Yeah. So the minute you think it's figuring out everybody that needs to change but you, then you're a person that is determined to keep your pattern going. So if you can tell me all day long what everybody else has done to you and who else that was and how they did it and when they did it, you're telling me I'm not ready to change. I want to relive my past and recreate it in my future, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so here we go. Do a quick little recap. Now has no meaning to a fearful mind. To a fearful, erroneous mind, right now just reminds them of the past. It's time to let go of the past. What does that mean? It means to tell yourself that the past means gone. The past means over. If you want to remember the past, I'm going to give you the only part of the past that has any meaning. The part of the past that has any meaning that you should hang on to is only the loving thoughts, the healing, joyful times and joyful thoughts. That's the only part of the past that ultimately has value. Is the part of the past that reminds you of how beautiful you are, how innocent you are, how much you deserve love right now. When you're with somebody, remember that they are not your past, especially if that's another person. Don't judge me by your last boyfriend. I'm your new boss, don't judge me by your old boss. I'm your new friend, don't judge me by what happened with your old friends. As a matter of fact, if there's a new you, don't judge the present you by the way that you used to be. Do you hear me? Do you hear me now? Do you hear me? Yes. Because if you bring these shadowy figures with you, then you're going to make it real right now, and you're going to relive that situation again, and you're going to say, oh my God, I'm going through the same thing all over again. So don't lose the opportunities that you have to find release in the present. So when you're feeling upset, tell yourself, at least I At least I can admit to myself, I don't like the way I feel right now. I don't like the way I feel right now about this person, about myself, about this situation. And so I hope I am wrong. And so I hope I am wrong. But remember that everybody that you're meeting right now is a holy, happy, healing encounter. That's what you have in this room. That's what you're having out there. Because if you see that person as if they're who you were meeting in the past, the Course says you won't be really meeting them, and then all the happiness and joy and fun and healing will be excluded from your sight. The love in you, the truth in you, the spirit in you is going to always teach you that you're really meeting yourself. You didn't know you looked like this, did you? See, I can't see my face, right? When I look out, I can see yours, right? So really, I'm looking at my face. If the three-dimensional world is just a mirror of what's going on in my consciousness, right? Then actually the Course in Miracles saying, we are one. I'm looking at the one self in many different forms. And so we're giving each other endless opportunities to see each other differently. So that's why you want to remind yourself, I'm determined to see things differently. I am determined to see things differently. Then you tell yourself, I am determined to see. Say what? I am determined to see. So when you're really upset, the first thing you should do is pause, if at all possible. Pause for inspiration. I know you're getting upset. You can feel yourself beginning to get upset, and you get ready to go off. Use your anger as a cue to shut up. Use your upset as a cue. You should close your mouth and breathe and ask for another way of looking at it. You go, I want another way of looking at this. I want another way of looking at this. I want another way of looking at this. I want another way of looking at you. I want another way of looking at you. Mighty companions, thank you for tuning in. And don't forget, may the Course be with you. I'll see you next time.